Hi, this is Rett Rasmussen with Rasmussen Gas Logs and Grills. We've been an innovator in gas burning systems, both in the fireplace and the gas grills, for many decades. And we think we've done a pretty good job with it. We've become very familiar with the infrared type of direct radiant heaters, direct radiant burner systems, applied them into the gas grills, and that's really given us a good understanding of infrared direct heating, direct application of heat. But what we've seen out in the market when you start looking at other types of products, other applications out there for space heating, especially the type that you would see in an outdoor environment like a restaurant, a nice backyard, especially where the emphasis has been on the outdoor room, where we are also in that space with our Solaire infrared grills. The industry standard has been this. It's very industrial looking. It's like something you'll find, and you will find it in garages and factories. And unfortunately, that's all you're going to find in people's backyards and restaurants and in public spaces, because that's the state of the art up to this point. But then lo and behold, went to a trade show a couple of years ago and saw this and immediately identified that this is a game changer. This is, the wave of the future as far as outdoor space heating is going, and we wanted to be a part of this. And so we found out who makes these, who's involved with it, and I'm very fortunate today to have Dan Joseph, the sales director for Bromic Heating out of Australia, with me today to talk about Bromic heaters and what is it that separates it from the marketplace. So Dan, welcome very much.
G'day, Rett.
To being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. My pleasure. And tell us, what is it that, besides the looks, which are very obvious, what separates Bromic heaters from the competition?
Well, Rett, I think the answer to your question lies in predominantly two factors. You've correctly identified one of them. Bromic Heating approximately 7 to 10 years ago identified a lack of aesthetically appealing products out there in the marketplace.
That says it all right there.
Correct. And synonymous with the outdoor market is the traditional patio heater, which is an even greater eyesore. So Bromic Heating ultimately decided that one of the things that we wanted to do was make an aesthetically pleasing product. And thank you for your feedback there, but I think we've ultimately produced a product that universally has been accepted as a quality, good-looking product that is aesthetically pleasing, and that that people are receiving quite well out there in the marketplace. But it wasn't the only thing that Bromic wanted to do. Bromic, much like Rasmussen, is synonymous with quality products. We're an innovator. We're an industry innovator. Ultimately, one of the most important things that we identified was function. And what I mean by that is that functionally our product needed to perform in the environment in which it operates, and that environment is the outdoors.
Which is a very hostile environment.
Correct. So we went to a level of detail into the choice of materials we use in the product, but above and beyond that, we also said that for an outdoor product, the number one thing we needed to focus on was wind resistance. Right. So approximately more than 5 years ago, we set about building the world's most resistant, wind-resistant product. And I'm proud to say that product sits in the platinum, and it's in its class anywhere in the world. I don't think you're going to find a more wind-resistant product for the outdoor areas. So the platinum product really encapsulates that as its primary function.
How much more wind-resistant is it from the competition?
I would say approximately 2 to 3 times more wind-resistant than any competitor anywhere in the world.
And by having that wind resistance, what does that give to the consumer, or the person who's using it or feeling the effects of it?
Well, let's think back again to the traditional patio heater. The traditional patio heater sits outdoors. It's a manual ignition. If the wind comes past, it blows it out. It typically will take it out at about 4 miles per hour.
And you're talking about those mushroom-type heaters.
Correct.
That sit on a pole. And,
correct.
Right.
Correct. That product typically will blow out at approximately 4 miles per hour. Okay. And then if it does blow out, it'll, depending on which product you get, but more often than not, it'll keep flowing gases into the atmosphere. Our product, as you can see, well, it's hard to see in this particular shot, but if you see it up close, you'll notice that one of the primary features that helps us in our wind resistance capability is a ceramic screen that sits in the front of the burners, and that's what helps us achieve the 11 miles per hour. But above and beyond that, the product has what we call smart ignition, and it's an electronic ignition system that will go to reignite the heater in the event that it is blown out. So unlike a traditional patio heater, which if it does blow out requires somebody to come along and reignite the product, our product, as you can see, will have that wind resistance capability. In the event that the wind does take it out, the product will move to reignite itself. If it doesn't reignite, the other smart function it's got is it will cut the gas, so it's in that sense a little bit more environmentally friendly.
It's fail-safe.
Correct.
You know, very, like I said, it's smart.
Correct.
Smart to have that in your backyard instead of the old type.
Oh, absolutely. You know, being an Australian company, we're I suppose synonymous for having to go out there and tinker around and go and create. Much like the North American market and the US, which prides itself on building innovative products. It's one of the things that we're happy to say. We've also locked it down with some intellectual property, which again helps to separate our products from the rest of the market.
So, you know, knockoffs aren't going to be well, if there are going to be knockoffs, which unfortunately R&D and our industry tends to stand for rip off and duplicate, they need to tread lightly on that. If they're going to try to go down the path of what they've done with other products in the industry, they don't want to go after an exact duplication here.
Correct, but I mean, above and beyond that, it's one thing to just simply say duplicate. As you can appreciate, working with gas and gas products isn't necessarily the easiest of things.
No.
There's a lot of technology that we've put into this, somewhere in the vicinity of 5 years and 7 digits into the development of the product itself. So it's not that simple to just simply replicate, right. Unlike a patio heater, for example. So I don't think that necessarily is going to be the thing that's going to stand out, because somebody is going to have deep pockets and a lot of time or a lot of man hours to redevelop a product and improve on what we've done. But having said that, Bromic Heating itself has got a roadmap moving forward at least 24 months of a future product that we're going to be bringing to market as well. Above and beyond that, there are a couple of other features and functions that, at its most basic level, the product has. So the product is a wall-mounted product. The product comes with a bracket system. The bracket system is where the intelligent control sits. The product itself also allows for directional heating. And what do we mean by directional heating is that the product, when mounted on the wall, is capable of moving 25 degrees left or right of its center line. So that will allow the proprietor or the person that has their outdoor room to be able to direct the heat that they want where they want it.
So these aren't directional?
No, correct. This particular product, looking at it, just simply points down and it's fixed mounted in one position.
So that really takes away some flexibility, and because things change, especially in a backyard situation. You may set up your patio furniture here, yep, and decide that for whatever reason, prevailing winds or sun or whatever the case may be, you'd want to move it to a different location. You've got that flexibility without having to replumb and remove your move all around your patio heaters.
Correct. I mean, as I mentioned, it's 25 degrees off its center line, yeah, from its fixed position where the actual bracket is mounted. So it does provide a degree of flexibility. Correct.
Excellent. Yeah. And then your materials are top quality too. You're not bottom basement here. You're top shelf when it comes to the actual materials that you're making the heaters out of.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that we tend to find architects and specifiers asking us a lot about is the grade of stainless steel that we've chosen to use. The grade of stainless steel is a grade called SS443. It comes out of a Japanese mill. The reason we chose that is predominantly because of its heat-resistant capability. The product itself, it gets to very high temperatures. So as such, SS316, yeah, has slightly higher corrosion capability, but we found that the difference between SS316 and SS443 was marginal, whereas the heat-resistant capability, bear in mind heat, air and oxidization, so to speak, has the ability to create rust. The products do need to be maintained regardless of what grade of stainless steel is used. But ultimately, we found that SS443 was the better grade of material to use in our product. The other thing that when people touch our products for the first time is they realize it's on a much smaller footprint than any competitive product. We punch out a substantial amount of heat, anywhere up to 25% more heat than competitive product, on a much smaller footprint, anywhere between half to 2/3 of the size of our competitors. Yeah.
Does that affect your throw of the heat compared to these guys that seem to be a lot larger?
Well, fundamentally, there's a difference. Our product sits when mounted at a 45-degree angle, and that creates a 60-degree off the face of the heater bloom. And as I mentioned, at a 45-degree angle, which creates a sort of a heating zone, as opposed to, if you were to look at the slide before, a heater that's fixed mounted from the roof pointing down is really heating the space below it, and really marginally left or right of that space. So yeah, we took that into consideration and opted for the style of product that we've gone for to try and capture the greatest distance that we can to provide the largest heat bloom. A 500 series product here in California, like you see up there, would heat approximately 200 square feet. A 300 series product, like you see down here, would heat approximately 120 square feet.
Okay. That's a decent area. And the product that you're pointing out there in the corner is your other
correct
product besides the platinum. The platinum is kind of the high end, so to speak, at least from a pricing standpoint. You've got the tungsten in the corner there. And how does it differentiate from the platinum?
Sure. The platinum, as I mentioned to you, came into existence, and it's been in sales in Australia, which is our market where the product was born or conceived, for approximately 5 years now. The tungsten came into existence soon after that. Our engineers started to work on what I would define as a slightly lower end product, but so it really caters for the mid-tier. The platinum caters for the higher end, the mid to higher end market. It's still it's what I like to refer to as an honest product. It bang for buck delivers a substantial amount of heat, exactly the same as the platinum. It does not have a ceramic screen, as you can see. You can actually see the burners through what I call the rustic face or the front of the unit. And what our engineers spent an inordinate amount of time is go back to the traditional patio heater. Effectively, you've got the burners exposed, so if it blows out, how do you reignite? So they put some pretty good technology in place to ensure that product stays alight in wind-resistant environments. Again, we're an outdoor heating company. Right. And the product, I'm proud to say, for an open burner, achieves about 8 miles per hour of direct wind resistance, roughly 2 times the traditional patio heater.
That's fantastic. Yeah. And it comes in a black finish, but correct. That's actually stainless steel underneath there, the same stainless that you're using on the platinum.
Yeah, correct. The product is manufactured with stainless steel, and ironically, we've sourced a coating out of the United States here.
I appreciate the business.
No problem. It's a high temperature rated coating that we apply across the product. It's a ceramic derivative, so it's capable of withstanding that high temperature, and it shouldn't blister or peel. Again, other products that exist in the marketplace are simply powder coated or painted, and over time will rust or blister. This particular substrate that we're using to apply over the stainless is there to, again, help to provide longevity. So in no means do I say it's a low-end product. It's still quite a high-end product. It still is an evolutionary leap, in my opinion, to what is out there in the marketplace today. But relative to the platinum, of course, it's the smaller brother.
And so there was quite a bit of savings, too, to the end user, to the installer, and to the person who's purchasing the heaters compared to the industry standard nowadays. Yep. You talked about the bracket before.
Yep.
And there's also lesser need for an electrician, or for, they don't have to buy a transformer. A transformer is already included in the bracket system.
Correct. The product, effectively, if you've got a a power point. You can just plug the product straight in. Your gas fitter can do his work. But yes, you're quite correct. Inline, in the product itself, both of our products are 110 volts straight to the unit. There's a transformer built into the product, so the person purchasing the unit doesn't need to think about all these other things and bits and pieces they need to buy, such as brackets or transformers. It's all there out of the box when you receive the package.
Some of the competitors out there have a remote control to do it that way. What's your opinion on that?
Well, I think the best way to say that is that in most homes and commercial environments today, people are moving more and more towards having universal remotes. Take the humble television, for example. We all pretty much today have a universal remote to control our various appliances in the lounge room. Similarly, there are universal remotes that allow for the dimming of lights, turning on and off of air conditioners. Our products are smart integrated we're pretty much the term I like to use is we're agnostic. We're agnostic of any particular brand. We don't have our own remote control. We will integrate with nearly any smart integration system that's out there, and generally any of those smart integration systems you can procure a universal remote for dimming of lights, turning them on or off, turning on or off our heaters, and the various other appliances that you wish to control in the environment. So from our perspective, we just didn't see the need. It was kind of redundant.
And certainly the types of remotes that are actually native to the product, where it will dim for, alter the degree of heat that's coming out, that really is kind of counter to this type of product, really, when you get down to it. It works better when it's at its full BTU range.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, if one is seeking to control the heat, it's maybe one of the few shortcomings of the product, but I don't see it as a shortcoming. At the end of the day, the product is either on or it's off. Most proprietors that have multiple units, and when the architects and specifiers tend to work with our product, they tend to engage the electricians in this process. They tend to think about all these sorts of attributes along the way. So one of the things that we're asked by most proprietors instead is quite the opposite. There might be a warmer spring day or a warmer fall day, so they may not want to have all their units turned on. Right. So what we recommend is the ability to switch the units either in zones or individually turn them off. But what nearly every single proprietor asks for is a master switch to kill all units at the end of the day, so that when they're wrapping up their business for the day, they're able to just hit one switch and turn them off. That is certainly a feature that is extensively used in Australia. And again, it's going to come down to the way in which we've got an affectionate term for an electrician. It comes down to the way in which your Sparky basically wires up the joint. So right. Absolutely no problem in controlling the heat through that mechanism.
And of course, this is directional heat. It's not like the mushroom ones that are giving you 360 degrees and heating that wall behind them, and as well as out into the room.
Correct. Not only that, I mean, obviously, although a mushroom heater is radiant heat, and radiant heat is like the sun, so it heats the object, the mushroom heat is just simply throwing heat out indiscriminately in 360 degrees, and a lot of that heat is also moving in an upward direction. As I mentioned to you, our product sits on a 45-degree angle to the horizon, so when mounted, it's really pushing the heat in the direction of its focus, and generally that's it's really going to depend on what its focus is. It could be for an outdoor room, in which case it might be a dining table. It might be just simply to provide perimeter heat as people are queuing to enter into a restaurant or enter into a bar. So yeah, but ultimately it's providing directional heat, correct.
Absolutely. Now you mentioned that you're an Australian company, Bromic, and you've been producing these heaters for at least 5 years.
Correct. They've been in the field for over 5 years.
You're newer to the United States and to the North American market, but tell us about your experience in Australia with these products and how that might relate to us in the United States.
Sure. Well, let's look at it. Bromic, might be relatively new to the United States, but Rett, as you know, Bromic and Rasmussen have been doing business for over 10 years. Bromic as a company has been in existence for over 30 years. We're a well-known brand in Australia. We're a well-respected brand in Australia within the plumbing and gas industry. We understand gas very, very well. As you know, we produce various components and appliances that are actually used in your grills.
Helped out our grills tremendously. Yeah.
Thank you. So ultimately, although Bromic is new to the United States, we're not a new company. Right. At our head office, we have over 60 employees, and we're growing our markets throughout the world. The product acceptance in Australia has been very good. I don't think you're going to find the teething problems that we had in Australia, because we've kind of ironed them out over the years, and we've actively been coming to the North American market for the past 2 years. As you mentioned, you saw us 2 years ago with the product, and we've taken those tentative steps forward and slowly worked our way into the marketplace. And I'm proud to say 2011 has been the year that we've decided to engage the marketplace and start to push our products out to market. So yeah, I think that it's been a very considered approach on entry into the North American market, and I believe we're going to be a flourishing success.
Well, I believe that too, and that's why we jumped on board with you folks, really saw the opportunity for it, because you weren't just a Johnny-come-lately. You weren't a company who is going to be testing their products out on the consumers. It's already happened for 5+ years of this particular product line, and many years as far as building a business up to that point. As you mentioned, we have a 10-year relationship with Bromic as a component manufacturer for our Solaire grills. Gave us the confidence that we needed to bring such a product out into the marketplace.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is not a, I suppose the best way to say it is what you just said. We're not looking to test the waters here in the United States. We're ready to roll. We're ready to roll out our products, and I think what you're going to find is over the forthcoming couple of years, there's going to be some other innovative product that we're going to be introducing to the marketplace.
Well, what is your vision for Bromic? You mentioned you've got a pipeline of products coming down, and I want you to reveal any secrets that aren't ready for prime time yet, but maybe just a few teasers here would, you know, the audience would be interested in.
I think what you're going to find next is that there's going to be some electric product hitting the market that is more of a solid state.
Well, why would somebody want an electric over a gas?
I suppose the best way to say it is that they might want the gas, but they may not have the clearance to install the gas. Okay. So hence, we thought it necessary to have an electric product. I think that's an important point as well. Bromic's here for the long term. We're investing for the long term. And our aim is to be the most dominant company in the outdoor heating space within the next couple of years. So we're interested in feedback. We're interested in all the good stories that people have to say. And we're happy to address, you know, if there is the odd unhappy customer, you know, it's necessary for us to understand, you know, what we need to do to improve. So we've got a full R&D team that sits in Sydney that will work and engage with our distribution network, with Rasmussen as well, to not only help specify the product, but take in all sorts of input that will help us be a better company.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. Well, I think you're off on a great start. You've got the products. I mean, the challenge right now is to replace what you see here, the industry standard, with this nice, contemporary, clean look. I mean, this is such in an alignment with this type of a high-end setting. I can't imagine that, you know, in this day and age, that customers would opt for this when they could have this, and especially when, I mean, the pricing is actually very competitive, and I mean, at worst, it's maybe on a little bit lower and a little bit higher, but really when you take into all the other factors that we discussed about the componentization of it all, you've already got the transformer, you know, it has the bracket system, all a part of it, you've got the package, you've really surveyed the market and really have met what the needs are, I see.
Thank you.
We
believe that well, we attempted to do that. It's nice to hear that you think we've achieved that. I still think that there's a road ahead of us. But you know, all things said and done, I think you're going to see some more great things from Bromic Heating moving forward. And more importantly, I think it's time to actively engage the audience that's out there in the ether, and you know, talk to your specifiers, talk to your architects, get them interested in wanting to look at our products, because you today have alternatives. Those alternatives not only have aesthetic appeal, as you can see, but they're functionally superior. So you're getting the best of both worlds, and I encourage you to contact Rett and his team in relation to our products, engage them in the process, and I'm sure you're going to be very, very satisfied with what you procure.
Well, thank you, Dan, and for those who are interested in learning more about the Bromic radiant patio heaters, we have a website, radiantpatioheater.com, that has a lot of the information. You'll find this video up on there at some point, and as well as all kinds of other resources that we have available for specifiers, for dealers, for consumers to learn more about this product line. So Dan, thank you so much. Wonderful to have you here. This is a great opportunity, not just for us, for you, for the marketplace. It's truly a triple win out there.
Thank you, mate. I appreciate the opportunity, and I look forward to hearing many success stories through Rasmussen's.
Rett Rasmussen with Rasmussen Gas Logs and Grills. Thank you very much.